Hello, everybody that is here. I am Michelle Ward. I am the When I Grow Up coach, and I'm here with Jessie Smith-Larson, who is an artist, lots of different mediums. And we are here today for my little spreecast show called Grown Up Gigs. And here we have an inside look at dream jobs held by real people. So Jessie is one of those people that has a dream job and is a real person. And
I am a real
you're
person.
a real person. You have a job that I think a lot of people feel is out of their reach or isn't, something you could actually do as a career. And Jessie was one of the first people that popped into my head when I started the series because your work is so varied, Jessie, but it's still so you, and you're able to be like, I'm gonna make an animated movie, or I'm gonna like illustrate something that's gonna be a stuffed animal, or or I'm gonna write a book or whatever. So we're definitely gonna be digging into all of that here, which will be great. Before we get started, just let you guys know, hi Aggie, and guests. I don't know guests who you are, but hello to you as well. And just want to totally encourage you guys to use the submit question button that you see to ask questions along the way. I'm not someone that like waits until the very end of the hour to ask questions. So just submit them as they come, and Jessie and I will take breaks throughout our own conversation to address any of the questions that come up on the screen. So totally encourage you guys to ask away as things come up, and we'll answer as things come up. Yay! Um, so we want to start with me asking you, as I am legally obligated to do as the When I Grow Up coach, what you wanted to be when you grew up as a kid. Do you remember?
I do. Well, first, I remember I didn't want to grow up, and I remember, um, true.
uh,
I remember saying I didn't want to go to work like my parents did. Because they were very hard workers, and both my parents worked, and I just always remembered not wanting to do that.
uh-huh.
So I knew that whatever career I chose wasn't going to be a typical 9 to 5 type of job. Um, So when I was little, I wanted to be. I first wanted to be a veterinarian
Mm,
because every kid wants to be a vet. But I knew I wanted to be an artist, and I wanted to make things,
mm.
and I just always happened to be making something. So that's what I wanted to be. That's what I am.
It's so interesting, right? So sometimes that path isn't so linear, but I love hearing that. The last person I had on Grown Up Gigs is an opera singer, and she's like, I wanted to be a scientist, and that kind of blew my mind. I was like, well, what? That makes no sense in my head. So this makes more sense in my head that like that's what you knew. The office job was never free. Have you ever had an office job or like a more 9 to 5 sort of gig?
Yeah, I did when I was in Florida. When I lived in Miami for a long time, and I did take an office job, like kind of like a summer type job,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at a PR firm, and it was the most horrible experience, taste of the real world,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do it. I ended up quitting my job, and I ended up actually going. I started becoming. I was a lifeguard
Ah,
after
okay.
that job because I was like, it was just bad.
Yeah.
It was just a bad job, and but I've had office jobs. When I freelanced, their office jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, had full time jobs in advertising,
Right.
and
Oh, that's right.
again, that's not 9 to 5. Your hours are insane. And there is a lot of burnout in that business, but
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I
It started pouring here so bad that I literally like can't hear you over the
oh
rain,
no,
which is really weird. Let me just plug my headphones in, and that should make a difference. Can you guys still hear me?
yes,
Yes? Okay, good. Oh, that's much better. Oh my God. It's a literally, all of a sudden it was like drizzly, and now it's like brrr, pouring in New York City. That's the latest weather. Back to the studio. Um, so let's go back. Let's go back to kind of like your background, your education, and kind of how you went into those corporate advertising sort of jobs, and then came back. And oh, thanks, Aggie. Aggie said, Jessie, your voice is far away, so if you could kind of stay on top of the microphone, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Oh, that's much better. That's
that?
much better, much better. Yeah.
Thanks, Aggie.
Thanks, Aggie. So give us a little bit of background. Love it. Give us a little bit of background as to like what that journey kind of looked like for you.
My journey, let's see, started in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school. I took a lot of art and photography, and I always thought I was going to go to art school and learn art and become an artist that way. But after high school, we had a huge hurricane that just completely wiped out everything. So I didn't have a portfolio to get into art school,
Oh.
which was kind of devastating to me because you'd think that they'd give you some leeway or ask you to prove it another way, but I couldn't get in. So I ended up um, going a few different ways. I was going to be an elementary school art teacher, and then I wanted to become a geologist, but I sucked at math. And then I ended up going into communications and advertising and transferring to the University of Central Florida, which is like the best school in the whole world. So I ended up graduating with a degree in advertising and finding out that you can't really get a job as a creative in advertising unless you go to portfolio school. You're just not trained to think.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, unless you want to start. My sister's commenting.
Oh, that's your sister. Hi, sis.
So I ended up hearing about the school called the Miami Art School, and it's a school from advertising and design. And I ended up going to school there and graduating from there, and then getting a job in Chicago in advertising. So my route, my path to art was completely detoured. So I became an art director in advertising, and I loved working with illustrators and hiring artists to help with our projects and everything. And I was always so jealous. I'm like, I want to do what they're doing. How come I can't do that? So one day I decided I was going to start drawing again. So I did. I just started making art again. And then from there, I was more interested in art than advertising. And I started to try to find other jobs where I was actually being creative and making things. And that's how it all started. So.
You make it sound so easy. You make it sound like, like, oh, one day there's kind of, you woke up and there was a shift and blah, blah, blah. And it's a really hard, scary thing, right? To kind of be an adult. And I know that, like, being an art director and an advertising agency, my husband's in advertising. So I know that there's, a nice paycheck and a lot of responsibility, and you're at a certain level, and it's a very professional sort of corporate job. And so to tap back into childhood Jessie, who like didn't want to grow up and she didn't want to work the 9 to 5 and wanted to do something creative, it seems like you did the adult thing that creative adults do, which is like get a more corporate responsible job, but you were so far removed from your own creativity.
Oh, completely. Like I hadn't drawn in 10 years. I think in school I made this giant rat trap for a TV spot we were making, and I just remember how fun it was. I think that was like the most fun thing I did in school was make a gigantic mouse trap, and I hope they still have it because I want
it back. Get in touch with that teacher and be like, "Do you have it? Where is it?" I know. I want it.
No, but I think it's really important if you're going to be an artist to be able to supplement your income because it is hard to make a living just being an artist. I have so many artist friends who are struggling right now, and I mean, if you think about it, all of your time is spent making things. You don't have a company making things for you. You're designing, you're making things. You're on the weekends going to craft shows and selling
Mm.
and it is a hard life for an artist. Unfortunately, I don't have patience for that, so
Right.
I have to keep one foot in advertising. Um, and I freelance as much as I
Mm-hmm.
can. I take the jobs that I think are going to be a good fit.
Mm.
Like I don't take every job that comes along because if I've worked with some total assholes. Oh,
Ah, do it. Say it. Own it.
it's just not worth my time to work with
Mm.
people like that. So I'd rather pick jobs where I like the people, I like the company, I
Mm.
like what they stand for. And I think that's important too when you're in this weird business that you stay true to yourself and pick things that you want to do that better yourself.
Mm. I love this. I love this. Like already tweetables and learning lessons here because and the more I do this series and the more I kind of work with these creative people, the more I see there's just infinite amount of ways to do something and to do it well and to feel
Mm-hmm.
successful. And so I think a lot of the times we kind of end up putting ourselves in a box unnecessarily or feeling like we have these
Mm-hmm.
limitations, which we actually don't. So for one person might love craft fairs and might love, selling their stuff online or might love, that sort of piece. And for them, maybe that is ultimately what they want to be doing and how they want to be working on their art and in their business. But that for you personally, you enjoy more taking on these freelance jobs, getting to work with these clients, being able to be picky, and then knowing you have the time and the space for your art in the way that you want to move it forward and the projects you want to be working on.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, the way I work is I'll work on something and I'll finish it and I
Mm.
might have a show or I might not.
Right.
But as long as I get that out, that whatever vision
Mm.
I have to create it, and then it ends up sitting in my house.
Uh-huh.
But it's done. So and then I move on to the next thing because like I said before, I always have to make something. Like I
Mm.
just have this need to build things.
Mm.
So sometimes they're seen by the public, and other times they're just sitting in my studio or my living room, or I give them away to friends. But what are we talking about?
No. This is great in terms of the way that things work for you. So it seems like you're more driven by just what's in your head and what you need to create, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to like the end result of I'm doing this to make money, or like this is my next
Right.
project, or you're putting every single thing you make up for sale or as part of a show or something. It seems that doesn't matter so much to you.
Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't matter to me at all.
Mm.
Like selling stuff doesn't matter to me. I think if I didn't have a supplemental income, it would be definitely, I have to sell this stuff because
Uh-huh.
that's how I'm making a living. Um, and I just the time doesn't work out.
Right.
Like the spending 100 hours in the studio to sell something for $20. It just that math doesn't make sense
Uh-huh.
to me. And I know so many artists who do that. They're in their studio, 20 hours a day, and they do the craft shows, and you know, it's such hard work. And I love them for
Yeah.
that drive that they have, and I wish I could have that. But I would get so discouraged,
Mm.
going to these craft shows and selling one thing. So it's just not for me.
Mm.
But there are other ways to make money.
Yay. And we'll talk about that too, because the kind of projects that you work on, I feel are really different than a lot of what artists kind of think that they could do for themselves, which is another reason why I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get my hands on you here and allow people to ask questions. So for the new people that have joined us since we started, I totally encourage you to use that submit question button. Um, Whenever a question pops into your head, and Jessie and I will be putting them on the screen a few times over the course of the hour. So I love to see them lined up in the queue, and we'll be able to address them. So don't be shy with any of that. Um, so it's great that you seem to not go into the trap that I feel like some of my like creative clients, just other creative people in general, kind of put for themselves that like whatever they make has to be wrapped up into a larger purpose. It has to be for a bigger reason other than just self-expression. Um, and this might not be a relevant question for you because it might just be like your own perspective and how you feel about things. It might not be a struggle. But has it ever been a struggle that has been like, oh well, I'm just making this for me and it's just gonna sit in my house, or maybe I'm giving it to someone, like then it's not important and I'm not gonna make time for it. Like was there ever a point where you had that perspective?
Um, I think I feel like that a lot.
Mm.
Like I feel like I'm doing it wrong
Uh,
because I do make so many things, and then they just end up, not going anywhere. But I'm satisfied that I finished it. But then I do have this guilt, like, should I be pushing this, or
mm,
should I be trying to sell this stuff?
mm,
Um, I feel icky doing that. I don't know why. Um, I just.
mm. Oh, no, that's interesting. So and I'm all about like making sure that your business is authentic and, you do what you feel you're comfortable doing. So there's just something internally, it seems like it's a gut sort of thing where you know what you want to be selling or putting out there, or making more public, and you know to what needs to be just sort of for you, that you don't want to put a price tag on, or you don't want to put up on the website or whatever, and you're able to at least feel some peace and comfort in the fact that it's just exists and it's out there.
Yeah, and I think I make a lot of things. I don't like to explain what I do.
Uh-huh.
'Cause sometimes there are no words to explain why I do what I do.
Uh-huh.
But there are projects that I think will, are for the public.
Mm.
And those are the projects that I will get behind, and that I am very passionate about.
Mm.
And if they take off, then great.
Right.
I'll be so happy. And putting energy behind those projects is important.
Mm.
Which there are some things I'm working on right now. Usually the projects that I create for my clients are what I feel are important at the time, but I want to start directing that energy into my projects.
Mm-hmm.
And you know of a few of them, like Kite,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just some other.
So tell us some more. I want to get into like the projects and the stuff that you've worked on, but before we do that, I'm so curious if you're able to articulate when you know that something is just for you and when you know it's a project for the public.
Um, I think it's emotionally driven. Like when
Okay.
I'm working through something, um, I have some pieces that I've done, some larger paintings that I've done that are more for me, and people are like, "What were you thinking when you created this?"
Uh-huh.
It's just damn depressing. But projects that I feel for the public are more fun.
Mhm.
I think like a lot of my illustrations, a lot of my book ideas, a
Mm.
lot of my you know I think those are for the public. I think people can relate to them.
Mm.
And when I feel someone can relate or resonate with something I'm doing, then I want to share it with them.
Ah, okay.
So, and
Mm.
then I don't feel I have to explain that either because people just get
Right, right. Oh, that's awesome. So there's that gut feeling again, right? So it's just like trusting your instinct, that gut feeling of, oh, I think that this is going to resonate with people and I just want to share it.
it.
I love that because I think so often we get wrapped up in like, how do we market it? How do we sell it? And I've yet to meet a single person that's like, I love marketing my stuff. I love, forcing it on other people. Like I feel like every creative person for the most part is uncomfortable with that. So kind of thinking of, oh, this could help other people. I want to share it. Such a great
Mm-hmm.
way to,
Those creatives who can market themselves. I have a friend. You have to check him out. Britton Walters. He
yeah.
is like my hero. He is the most prolific artist I know, and he does those shows, does those fairs, does the
Mm,
C2E2s and the Comic Con. and he's just amazing how he can turn that side of him off and become a marketer, like market his own work. And I have to sit down and ask him how he separates himself from that.
Yeah.
I admire all those people all the artists who do the craft shows and who can market themselves. Sorry, something just happened here.
Oh, that's okay.
My screen went bonkers.
Oh, really? And I got a question from someone saying that they're not hearing you and your camera seems frozen, but I'm not having that problem at all. So I'm wondering, Ray, if you're on Google Chrome, if anyone's on Google Chrome, you might want to log in under a different browser because there's problems with Spreecast and Google Chrome. So that could be it too.
And I'm turning up my volume.
Yeah, I mean, I can now hear you fine, and your camera hasn't been frozen at all, so it might be a problem on someone else's end. So if you're on Google Chrome, get off Google Chrome and go to another browser. I want to be like, go someplace else. I want to be like, go someplace else, but not go someplace else. Like, come back here in another browser. Oh, now it's really loud. Oh, good. Okay. Ray said he refreshed.
Am I too loud?
Now it's a little loud. I don't know about anyone else.
Uh-oh. Hi, Brazil.
That was nice.
Is that too?
Is it too?
Anyway.
Oh, wait.
So yes, is that loud?
It's really loud now, like super loud.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
There's a microphone. Oh yeah, look at that. It's all red.
Oh, okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. The rain stopped, so I could take these off.
Let me say, I'm seeing, knowing all these people are watching, I'm terrified right now.
Ah, don't be terrified. It's just you and me. Don't even look at everyone else. Where
it's funny because everyone thinks I'm really outgoing, but I'm not. That's nervous.
I know. I so get it. It's just you and me. Just you and me. Everyone else just talk amongst themselves, and I so appreciate it because I know that this is hard for, artists that are used to kind of being behind the camera easel.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so to kind of put the spotlight on you, I super appreciate it. And I know that.
Well, and what I want to say, I want to help people, do what I do, and I hope I'm being articulate enough for you all. So if I'm not, just you have to kind of corner me and just ask a direct question.
Please, we want to encourage those questions. Well, I think this has been really helpful and insightful so far, and I know that it would be great for anyone that's here live or listening to the recording. So don't. You're doing great. You're doing great. We're having fun. Yay. So
thanks everyone for coming.
Yay.
Jelly bean dress.
Jelly bean.
Talk about
that. Yes. Okay, so we're talking about the jelly bean dress because I've been when I've been promoting this, I'm like, oh, look at this jelly bean dress. This is like she makes this thing, which to me was just the coolest thing ever. So talk to us about the jelly bean dress, and then we'll get into the other projects and stuff that you've worked on in the past and what you're working on now too, because I want to show everyone kind of how varied your work is while still being very much you.
The jelly bean dress is a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys have heard of the French Pastry School in Chicago, but it is a school where people learn pastry, basically. And every year we do a fundraiser called For the Love of Chocolate, where we raise funds for students to have money to go to the school, so they're awarded scholarships. And this year we had a fashion show, the Coco Couture fashion show, and we got to make outfits out of candy and jelly beans. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. And so this year Jelly Belly was our sponsor, one of the sponsors. There were a lot of sponsors, but I decided, I was asked if I would make a dress out of jelly beans. And so I I did. I wanted it to be this ombre dress with, flapper style because the theme was like 30s, 20s, and 30s, and great. And so I designed this dress, and in my head, it was going to be different.
Mm.
Than how it came out. We weren't expecting it to weigh as much as it did, so I had to deconstruct it at least 3 times
Wow.
and rebeam it to make it wearable for this awesome model, Kristen Nemmer, um, who was the woman who was wearing my dress. And that dress weighed over 25 pounds. So she was just, she was a trooper.
Wow.
Shout out to
I can't even wrap my head around
um,
that.
Oh my gosh. It took us, we worked on it for 3 or 4 weeks, like nonstop, get up in the morning, work till 2 o'clock in the morning, beading the jelly beans because we
Uh-huh.
had to turn each one into a bead and then sew each one on. So they weren't glued on, they were actually sewn
Oh my
on.
God.
I had contemplated gluing them on, but the glue weighed a lot as well. So, so yeah,
Oh my
the
God.
jelly bean dress was a success, and I still have boxes of jelly beans that were given to us. And thank you, Jelly Belly.
A perk. That's a perk, right?
Jennifer's saying she can't even carry a gallon of milk. Yeah, that dress was heavy. You wouldn't have been able to wear
Oh my
it.
God.
Um,
Crazy.
so
Well, that's an awesome
thank
experience.
you.
How did they find you for that? Like, how did you get chosen to do that?
Well, I've been with For the Love of Chocolate. This is my 7th or 8th year with them, and every year they call me and ask me if I want to participate again, and of course I do because those people are like family.
Mhm.
And so this year was jelly beans, and that's how they found me. Originally, they found me through my friend Louisa Rothman. She had worked on the original For the Love of Chocolate when we were raising money for Abigail Wadridge, who needed a transplant,
Mhm.
and we raised money for her, and that's how it all started. So that was the very first Love of Chocolate.
I'm getting
Then it,
I'm getting such a big like flashing neon sign, Jess, with all of these stories that you're really only involved in like the things that light you up and that you want to be involved in and that you feel strongly with, and that ends up just coming from that. Oh, I'm such a hippy dippy. I can't take it. Coming from that heart centered place and coming from that place of like your authenticity and intentions, that ends up leading to very natural connections and projects and people that
mhm.
lead to then more heart centered, authentic, creative work.
Yes, I agree with that. I think
Um,
that's dead
that's just
on.
super amazeballs and so fulfilling. And I think like what everyone kind of aspires to. So it sounds like it's never a decision for the most part that's like based on money or connections or like where is this going to get me, or if it doesn't feel right and it's not authentically you, you're taking a pass on it no matter what.
Yeah, that's so true. Wow, you're good.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
that's just like the best thing. So to hear you know that like yeah, when you have to take the freelance art director job, then like you're still at a place where you're working with the people you want to work with, you're working with the clients you want to work
Mhm.
with, you're able to still have your creative contributions there. And then for your art, whether it's something for yourself, whether it's something for charity, whether it's something for profit, it's all sort of connected, which I think really kind of shines through in the work that you do.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Pradeep asks, this is some, could someone tell me what's going on here? To give some background to Pradeep and anyone that might have just joined us, I'm Michelle Ward. I'm the When I Grow Up coach, and this is my show, Grown Up Gigs, that I do once or twice a month. That's an inside look of dream jobs held by real people. And I'm here with Jessie Smith-Larson, who's an artist across multiple mediums, and we're just talking about what she's done and how she does it and her work and all of the stuff. So that's what we're doing. And if you're here to like pick up the ladies, please go elsewhere. So I find sometimes to kind of sneak in to pick up the ladies, and this isn't the place for that. We're not. This is not the conversation.
Get all our beautiful ladies.
Yeah, we do. So we know it's tempting. We know it's tempting. But I like this. Okay, from Jennifer. I'm still struggling with finances. Where's the best place to make a living doing my illustrations? Oh, so
Jennifer, what kind of illustrations do you do?
oh,
Like, can she hear me?
yeah, she totally can.
Oh,
Jennifer, if you want to just put it in the comments as to the type of illustrations. But Jennifer, I know that Jennifer's someone who's in my clubhouse and I've known for a little while, and she makes doodles, these unbelievable doodles, and then sells that at craft fairs and has different art shows and stuff like that.
She's one of the people I admire who do the craft shows. I'll tell you a story. Well, after. But Jennifer, I think if you were to create something, your illustrations on pottery, or I'm seeing a lot of trends, with illustrations on something tangible that people can use, like a mug or pillows or scarves. I think you could boost your sales that way. That way people feel like, they're wearing a piece of art, and I'm seeing a lot of that happening in the art world, where artists are turning towards, um, incorporating their art into fashion or pottery, or like just other stuff. And Jennifer, I don't know if you have an agent or anything like that, but I could put her in touch with some people.
Oh, that would be great.
After the show.
Yay.
And hopefully, someone can see her work. And I think it's important for illustrators to get out there, try and get in front of art directors, try and get your book out there in front of art directors and creative directors in advertising or in the design world, because they're always looking for good illustration, good illustrators.
Yeah.
So there are some books out there, illustration guides that you might want to get into. I don't know if she's ever done work as an illustrator, or it is kind of challenging. I found out being an illustrator for a company is probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever done.
Ooh,
So be aware that it's not easy. It's not an easy job to be.
How so?
How?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when you're an illustrator working for someone else, they have a very specific vision of what they want your work to be. Sometimes they'll hire you based on your designs or your style, but I've had jobs and I've actually quit jobs because they want me to copy another artist's style, and I think it's wrong. So I've given up jobs like that where they show me someone else's work, and I'm like, what, hire that person. That's not what I do. So I'm such a
I know, I love it. And with the rampant like copying and stealing, I mean, it's not copying, it's stealing from these bigger companies, from these smaller artists. It's just so disgusting and horrible. It's nice to take a stance like that.
Yeah, and I just it makes me sick.
Yeah.
When people steal from artists. Like, I get so mad.
So it seems like
I actually thought I would want to be like a lawyer for artists who, don't really have the budget to hire a lawyer. I thought it would be cool to come up with a company of a group of really cool lawyers who could help those poor artists out, because I see them getting ripped off all the time. It just sucks.
So it's nice to have that stand, but it seems like from what you're kind of implying, an illustration job for a company means you're going to have to kind of just deliver what they want, and it might not have to do so much with your own style. And that always blows my mind, right? So why would they hire you as an artist and an illustrator and then not want the type of illustration that you're doing, or want a different look? Weird.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's price, like they think, oh, we'll just get someone at this price to do it. But you know, oh, sorry, I was reading Deborah's.
Yeah. I was just about to put that up on the screen. I'm putting this up on the screen.
Okay.
So Deborah asked, do you know any companies that do that? I'd love to learn more about what to do with my illustrations.
Oh, is she asking who would hire, like companies that would hire, or is there a, did I miss part of that question?
I don't know. Deborah, give us more to work with because I don't know exactly what we were saying specifically when you talked about that. Because I
Do
like
I know
that you
companies that steal artists' ideas, or do I know companies who hire? I guess that's two,
really companies
which.
that hire. Because I think that with artists, we kind of know, and Jennifer mentioned this in the comments. It's like we know wholesale, we know licensing, we know manufacturing, and we could definitely touch on that a little bit because I know that you've personally gotten into like how do you manufacture your own stuff and the challenges that come with that. But it's interesting. I mean, I haven't even necessarily. Obviously, you could be an art director or something like that, and in an agency and still kind of be creative, but it's
Mhm.
still not. I don't know as much of a direct correlation, I guess.
Advertising's not
Right.
art. Or being an art director is not being an artist. They're two different. There's like this very big
Mm-hmm.
difference,
Mm-hmm.
which was why being an art director, I always wanted to do what the artists were doing, and then, but then there is a something for the illustrators. I have a friend who hates art directors, and he's an artist,
Uh-huh.
and he's a book writer. He writes books and doodles, and one day we were talking, and he's like, I hate art directors. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because they're jerks. And I'm like, oh, I'm not a jerk. I was so offended. I was offended. But then I did take a job as an illustrator, and they were jerks. I'm like, they wanted what they wanted, and they were not nice about it. There's a way to be tactful when you're working with illustrators. There's a way to be kind about it, but some of these art directors were just mean.
Which is
And
so weird because you assume that they're
there's
artists as well. I mean, you can't really be an art director unless you kind of start by being an artist yourself. So I don't know where that kind of
exactly.
comes up, and how they lose that empathy, I guess, and treat
Yeah.
illustrators so poorly. But I do know that there are, freelance art directors, freelance illustrators, freelance, if you
Hmm.
wanted to get a book together and look for recruiters wherever you live, that could be a good step to figuring out which companies kind of hire that either on a freelance basis or more permanently, depending on what you're interested in.
Yeah, and there's a company, I have to get the name. I'd mentioned it earlier. They have a book of illustrators, and you can get in this book, and then those books are sent to art directors, and art
Oh,
directors look through them and pick all the illustrators that they want.
oh,
So I'll get the
that
name
would be
of that book.
great.
I can't think of it right now, and then I'll tell it. I'll give you the name of it,
Yay!
and then
Yeah, if you could send it to me, I'll include it in the roundup and the recording and stuff. So if anyone
I
wants
can
to be
check
sure.
my email real quick.
Um,
I have the worst memory.
that's for it's more than fine. I'll follow up with you. So if anyone
Okay.
knows that they want that information, go to whenIgrowupcoach.com/GUG, and you could sign up and you'll get that in your inbox by the end of the day. Uppercase Magazine, does that ring a bell?
Oh, I love uppercase. No, this is actually like an industry book. It's a guide to illustrators.
Fabulous.
Um, uppercase magazine's great. I'm always writing them saying, "Hey, I have this project," and
Ah, great.
they would
Pradeep, I know
uh,
you keep asking
I
about,
shouldn't be distracted.
yeah, Pradeep, I know you keep asking about being hired in the US, and we don't have any information about that. So,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Pradeep. I think with the U.S., I don't know if there's like international, like
yeah,
if you come here to work, or if
yeah,
I don't know how
we're
that
not
works.
experts on that. So, sorry, we're just kind of focusing on the art stuff right now. I'm gonna put something up from your sister. Do you tend to notice if customers want to buy art from someone that has professional training or self-taught, or does it matter? I love this question. What's your opinion on this?
It doesn't matter. I think if you can get the work done, they'll hire you. I think, sorry, I think galleries seem to matter more. Like if you went to school, like when I've tried to get into a gallery, they're like, "Ooh, where'd you go to school?" And I'm and then I never hear from them again. So, but
Interesting. Interesting.
you know what? If you can make it, then and people like it and resonate with it, they're gonna buy it. So,
And thankfully, and this kind of goes into the next question, thankfully, in the age of the internet, um, yes, if you want the galleries and you want that focus, maybe you're going to know I'm not going to have those doors open to me unless I have such and such an education, or I have these letters after my name, or I could say that I went to, such and such a school. But if you want to sell things to the public in general, if you want to, go into advertising or whatever, it's not going to matter as much as the work itself is going to matter.
yeah, your work has to speak for itself.
Yeah.
Period. You could
Period.
go to school all you want, and if you crank out some bullshit, then nobody's gonna want it.
True. The next question is from Charlene. Hi, Charlene. So super bad. Oh my
Hi,
God. Jessie.
She's super bad.
Jessie's name. Well, like your email, your screen name is super bad friend, which is I think hilarious.
Yeah.
Um.
She's the other friend.
Oh, I love it. So she wants to know, how do you navigate networking? Bum, bum, bum.
Working. Ew.
Gross.
As far as advertising, or what can
I guess in general, whatever that means to you, or is there anything that you specifically do in order to stay connected or meet new people?
I have a weird view on networking. I think when people have a hidden agenda, that's just gross. I tend to network with people. Sorry, I'm reading Charlene's comment. I always feel, and this will get all woo-woo spirituality land, but when I meet people, I'll know in a second, like in a split second, whether I'm going to stay friends with them. Like I feel like our entire relationship will flash before my eyes, and then I'll know what purpose that person is, for maybe someone else I meet. And I'm like, you two need to meet. I'm a huge connector. Like, I feel like the way I network is always, I feel like I need to put certain people together. I lost my screen. So I think when I do network with people and I feel like they want something from me, I usually just come out and ask, what do you want? So I guess that's how I network.
And it's so aligned with all the other stuff we've heard from you today, with just like it's coming from an authentic place, and it's either you have a connection and you feel this is going to be either a friend, an acquaintance, a best friend, or just someone that could help someone else that you're making it about them and what you could do for them, as opposed to like time to network to get my stuff, which just leaves everyone feeling so slimy.
Yeah, and you're all like, hey, I'm networking.
I like Jennifer wrote a ballsy introvert, and I think that's totally true. And there's a way to be an introvert but still meet new people and be connected to the people that you've met before, that you've hit it off with. It's great to do all of that stuff. Yeah. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about your projects, because we haven't even touched on that, and we're almost at the top of the hour. So Phil,
oh my God,
which is insane. I know it went so fast. You can give a little bit of history on, like, here's the stuff that you're most proud of, kind of worked on, and what you've done, and now what you're working on now. That would be awesome to give people a really wide scope as to the type of work that you do.
I think I'm most proud of my Martin series. And I think the reason I'm most proud is because that's when I surrendered to this, I don't know, this world I was living in
Mm.
that wasn't, I think, genuine.
Uh,
And that's when I decided to make the switch from, having a full-time career in one business and actually allowing myself to be true to myself by doing all these other things that I like
mm.
and that I see myself doing. Which is why I think my projects are so diverse. Everyone's like, oh, you have to focus on one thing and do it well, and I can't do that. I try to do that, but I just, that's just not me.
Mhm.
And my the one project I'm working on right now is Kite in the City, and I I love that darn cat so much. It's after my kitty, Ernie. Duh, like everyone knows that. And Kite is this little traveling kitty, and she, I think in order for me to be able to travel and do things, I can do it through this cat. Um, and I think that my experience will be her experiences, and then I can share that way,
Mm.
because then it's not really me sharing. I'm, telling it through the perspective of a cat.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good way for me to communicate how I really feel to the public through a vehicle.
Mm.
So it's not me telling you, you know, I don't know. It's just not me talking. I'm kind of like behind the scenes. Does that make
It
sense?
does make sense. Well, and that's the whole point of art, right? So like the whole point of art is to put your voice and your perspective out there, but in a way that it's not you know, I guess you're not beating people over the head with it, or it's like a different outlet, and it doesn't have to be you. Another introvert's way to be ballsy. Um,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a lot like when people have their pseudonym and they can work behind that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Fabulous.
But
And what shape does Kitty in the City take? Like what? I know the answer to this, but tell them like what is involved with Kitty in the City. What mediums are happening?
well, there's a book.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a doll.
Uh-huh.
There's a website. Today, we've gone through many different channels of trying to get this out there. Right now through the hotels, and that that I think is just the best. The way we were introducing her to different people through the hotels.
Mm.
I think as a travel item, like someone who's going to be traveling, these kids can take her with them, and
No, that's
anyway.
fabulous. I mean, how did you? How? I thought it was just a really interesting sort of connection that this was like through kind of pitching hotels for this, right? So how did that sort of come about that you had that connection or that you made that connection that like this could be a really great promotional tool for a hotel?
Well, my friend made the connection. He asked me. A friend of mine who works at that hotel had. We were talking one day, and he was interested in Martin. And then I said, I have this other character that I actually had been working with for like 10 years.
Mm.
And wouldn't it be cool if she went to all your hotels? And that's how it started. So. So,
Amazing.
yeah, I think once some more energy gets put behind it, then I'll be ready to kind of leak it out into the public. And I just want her to be available to
Yeah.
everybody. Because there's so many things that she can generate,
Mm.
like donating money to the Humane Society or helping children with education. Like the money that she generates can be donated to all these different little avenues. So I think once I figure out how that'll happen,
Mm.
then I think it'll be a really fun project to get a bunch of people involved with. kind of like the Flat Stanley of
Yeah.
the illustration world.
It just seems like it's so expansive, and I think that what I'm taking away from that too is like don't ever dismiss what other people could kind of do for you, even if it's not an obvious correlation right off the bat. But to sort of hear how that came about, and then you've had these meetings set up, and now you have this new network, and now now you have like these hotels that have been working with you on bringing this to their patrons, and then hearing you tie it into again that charitable authentic piece that makes you feel good, is
that's one way to contribute.
I love it. I have to ask about your characters in general, because it seems like so many of your projects are just based around a character, and then things kind of grow and develop from there. So could you describe that process a little bit?
A lot of characters are based off of friends, or I think everyone has different personalities hiding inside them. So a lot of the personalities that come out that I can't articulate are through my characters.
Okay.
And I think that's just how I work. Like, like I invent these little imaginary friends, and there's many of them. So each one of them has their own story and their own world and their own history. And I think, I look at my artwork that I'm going to be working on, or artwork that I have worked on that is going to span my entire lifetime. Like, it's always a work in progress. So it's hard to say something's finished when I'm not finished living yet. So I think over time, when I'm 90 years old, I'm going to look back at this body of work and be like, all right, I'm done. The public now. Well, this is who I was.
Well, and I love it, and I love that really you're creating like this representation of who you are at different points in your life, for you to kind of communicate that and look back on. And I literally wrote this down while you said it, because it struck such a chord with me to hear you talk about like what made you pick up your art supplies again after 10 years of not doing it. And it was something about you surrendered to the creative world that you kept seeing for yourself. And so just knowing that like you're here as an artist, and the work you want to do as an artist, whether it's just for you or just for maybe your family and friends or for the public at large, is really connected to that creative world that you see, and making that.
Uh-oh, I lost you.
Don't know what's going on. Am I back?
Yep. Now you are.
Okay, good. That was weird. My camera just started doing
surrender.
Okay. So if I go back, you said this is what happens when you surrender to the creative world that you saw, and that's what enabled you to pick up your art supplies again. So if we kind of just strip things to their foundation, it's not even so much about where the money is, or the projects you want to be working on. It's about like bringing that creative world to life, and that seems to be for you very character based, and like kind of creating new friends for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I have this
I like that
mythology, in my head of this world that I've created, and it'll come out. It's gonna come out. I think with the book projects that I'm working on, we'll start to see what's in my brain and my world. So I think it's it'll be fun. It'll be fun to let it out finally.
I can't wait. I mean, I know you don't post on your blog very regularly, but I and I always follow all the blogs of my clients when they sign up to work with me. And then after a while, it's just got so overwhelming. I was like, okay, I need to, let go of some of them. But you're always in my feed, and every time like something else comes up, and I see what you're working on, like the jelly bean dress, or like or it's like it's always like, oh my god, what's the next thing that she's working on? And I love kind of seeing what you've dreamed up and what you're bringing to life, and how you're doing it.
Thank you.
And
That's
it's
so
always
sweet.
you. Oh my God, it's true. And it's always very, very you, very connected and tied to you. So I know a lot of the times artists feel like they could only work in one medium, or they could only, offer one type of thing. And if they veer off of that, they'd have to like create a new store, create a new website, or create, it'll confuse people. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, no, stop doing that. Like, you
Look
could
at
put
Jessie.
it
She
under.
confuses everybody.
In a good way, in a good way. But it's all you. It's all you. So whether you're working in sculpture and like, working with the Martin character, and just having these different, you know, huge sculptures or small sculptures, or you're doing Kitty in the City, and like there's a stuffed animal and there's a book, or you're making a jelly bean dress, like it's all still super connected to who you are, and your own perspective and what you offer as an artist.
Thank you. So sweet.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna put this last thing from Jennifer up on the screen. Oh, this is just a comment. I feel like people tend to purchase from people they like. Being nice and friendly is so crucial when you're selling your work.
Absolutely.
Amen and hallelujah. I think she wrote that when we were talking about the education and the
Mm-hmm.
networking and stuff. Um,
Oh yeah. I mean, you can smell a fake a mile away. And I think when I purchase art from people I like, I always go back to them for everything. Like I'm very loyal. I'm like an advertiser's dream. I am a loyal customer. Um, I will buy from the same people till they stop selling. So
yeah.
yeah, it is important to be so nice as a vendor to your clients. You
Mm.
know, why piss them off? So
Well, and it goes back again to that authentic, like heart sanctuary hippy dippy place that we know you work from. And so when you're treating your work that way and you're treating other people that way, then that's just how it's going to come across. And then you're going to naturally like network without having to even like think about it.
yeah. Well, I don't know if
Mm.
um, Jennifer does the craft shows. I did one about 3 or 4 years ago, and everyone was coming up to me saying, "I can make this at home. You need to charge less." And it's just I just wanted to strangle them, and I felt so bad for everybody at the craft show because they were all getting the same thing, and I don't know how they deal with it. Like I would just chew somebody out if
That's
they kept saying
really,
that to me. Like
really
so.
insane. Wow. Oh, Jennifer, Jesse's in Chicago.
Oh yeah, I'm in Chicago. Jennifer, you know what? Yeah, punch them. I think I'm kidding. Um, I'll have to get Jennifer's email after so I can,
I'll
connect
connect
her to
you
some
guys.
people. So cool.
Yay! I'll connect you guys on Facebook.
Oh,
I'll
you're
send I'll message
Charlene.
both of
She's
you
so
guys.
sweet. Charlene
We're
is one of
ending
my
on this
really good
note.
friends. I love her.
Charlene wrote, "Thanks to your surrender and your flip top filled head was a huge inspiration to start my own creative work again." Is that like the best thing
Yay!
ever?
Charlene's working in glass now. She's a glass blower and she's so
Oh,
talented.
amazing!
She does these amazing like little plates and with all these cool mid-century modern designs and she has these little doodles that she calls dragons and she's just amazing. You guys should check out her website
Oh, it's fabulous. Charlene, put your URL in the live chat so we could all check you out. I'm gonna put my URL in there too, and Jesse, you put your URL in there so everyone could come and visit us. I'm putting the link specifically to the Grown Up Gigs page because this is a show that I'm going to be doing now on a monthly basis. And I
too. Oh,
think next month I am talking to Maggie Rose of Maggie Rose Interiors. So if interior design interests
nice.
you and she works with clients in person and virtually, that's going to be a really fantastic discussion too. Um, Oh my God, I'm just so thrilled. Thank you so much. Oh wait, here's Jessie. Jessie's at superbadfriend.blogspot.com.
And if anyone
Um,
wants me to plug their stuff on my blog, just let me know. Just email me, and I'm happy to, put your art or whatever on there. So just let me know, and I will.
Yay. And
Oh,
Charlene is
there's Charlene.
arttoolive.com.
Yay!
And Jennifer Lynn is jenniferlynn.com. So we could all connect afterwards
There's
and stay in
Jennifer.
touch with your community. Um, I love this. Oh wait, Jennifer was in the live chat. She put her thing in the live chat before.
Oh, I
I
didn't
could put
see
it
it.
on the screen.
And
Where is it?
can I give a huge shout out to my friend Britton Walters, who, like, his website is nerfect.com, and everyone should
What
look
is
at his
it?
artwork because he's
What is
amazing.
it?
And Nerfect, Nerfect,
Okay.
and he's amazing. Just check out his art, and I don't know, he's just great. I think he should be
Fabulous.
like super famous. So
Fabulous. And I'll include all of these links in my wrap up. So if you go to my blog at the end of the week, you'll see all this stuff. And if you go and go to When I Grow Up Coach slash GUG, you'll see all the past people I've interviewed and sign up to get access to those recordings and get reminders about these grown up gigs. This has just been the best. Thank you so much.
bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Hi, Ellen Heller. I had to say hi to her. Bye,
Bye.
Michelle.
Bye. Thank you, Jessie.